Right now, our world is urbanizing. What I mean by that is people all over the globe are flocking to major metro areas. It's estimated that over 80% of the population of the world actually lives in city centers. Frankly, the church has not done a great job of reaching these city centers over the last several decades, so the need for new churches and missions here in the United States and around the globe in these urban centers is critical. Take Atlanta, for instance. Atlanta is projected to grow by about 3 million people in the next 30 years. Just to reach new people coming to the city, what does that mean? We need hundreds of churches planted and hundreds of missionaries sent out to reach people coming to the community. And that's not just true here in my city, it's true all across America and all across the globe. Part of our identity as followers of Jesus is being sent. As the Father has sent me, so now I'm sending you. So in one sense, it is critical that churches focus on missions and sending and getting outside of the walls of the church, because it is why we exist. By God's grace, in our short history, the Lord has allowed us to be involved in sending some of our best and brightest out of our doors. We've been able to send people to Lebanon and Nepal and some unreached people groups in a place that we can't say by name because of security concerns. We've been able to send out some church planners and their families as well to Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, right here to Atlanta, a Spanish-speaking congregation. In fact, we're sitting in that room right now, and sometimes our impulse in churches is to try to hang on to our people. Yes, there's a cost at releasing them, and it's very scary to do so. And yet, when we do release our best and brightest people, we see a harvest of the gospel that we wouldn't accomplish if we tried to hang on to those people. In order to do that, I think churches and church leaders need to have a new metric of success. The only way we're going to commit to sending some of our best people is by saying we want to evaluate the successfulness of our church not by our seating capacity, but by our sending capacity. We need to celebrate the win of the kingdom of God. We win when Christ's kingdom is extended and the mission of God goes in and pushes back the darkness and the lostness in our city and in our world. Here's the reality. Your church, the church that I pastor, frankly, it won't survive. One day, every local church will die, and yet the kingdom of God will go on forever. So let's leverage our lives and our ministry to invest in something that is eternal. As we release people, inevitably what happens is new opportunities arrive for leadership. When you send out a pastor, there is now opportunities for more people to get involved. When you send out a leader in some ministry, there are more opportunities for people to get plugged in. We have to trust the Lord not only with the people that we send, but also trust the Lord to provide the leadership that our churches needs in the vacuum that is created by those people. I don't think we can ever outgive the Lord. I've never seen a church die by sending too many people to the harvest field. And if that's the way to go out, that's the way I want to go out, by giving our best and brightest to people and trusting the results to the Lord's hands. If you feel like the Lord is leading you to be sent in some way, here's a couple of suggestions I would make. The first one is talk to your church leader. Every church should have some sort of idea of how they can get behind you with partnerships to help you begin the process of discerning if that is God calling you. And let me offer a word of advice to those of you who are married. The first person that needs to be on board with you being sent is your spouse. If you're not on the same page on that, you really need to seek the Lord together and really begin to discern how the Lord is leading you. Another suggestion I would make is seek for training. You know, when I planted Gospel Hope Church, I had been a pastor for over a decade. I had lots of theological education, but I had never started a brand new church before. There are many excellent organizations that will help you pursue training in church planning or missions or however the burden the Lord has placed on your heart. I'd encourage you to seek out those partners. Be a learner, be a discoverer as you really seek to discern how the Lord is leading you. Sometimes as church leaders, we can think that, man, my church isn't large enough or we don't have the resources to really be involved in sending. Here's what I would encourage every pastor and church leader right now. Get started in some way. It can be a small step, it can be a big step, it can be a giant step of faith or just a little incremental step, but I would encourage you to do something to push back the darkness in your community and in our world. The need is urgent. The mission is gigantic, and it will take all of us, all of Christ's followers, banding together to take the gospel to all nations. So really begin to ask yourself, what is the piece of the pie? What is the piece of the darkness that God is calling me and my church to push back? I promise you, if you will try to trust the Lord in obedience and follow Him on obeying His mission, He will meet you and supply you and give you fruit that you don't even imagine right now. Let me encourage all of us to be about the mission of God in the world.